Okay, good morning. Coming off our off week, used our off week for opportunity to recharge and refocus, get an opportunity to look at ourselves from a tendency standpoint, get a chance to look at other people as well, and work on a lot of the basics, the things that we've been punished for this season in regards to not being successful, and finding ways where we can improve our football team even with just 2 weeks in the regular season left. You believe it or not, you can get a lot done in a day, and both in the film room, certainly out on the practice field, but also at the same time knowing a lot of tread has been ripped off the tires, and we have several young players that are contributing in big roles, and a lot of times with young players, the challenge of a season is just the length of it and all that entails. But just recapping the game, a game that I felt the teams were incredibly evenly matched, and it worked out that way at the end of the day. And we had 4.1 yards per play, and I think they were around 3.8 yards a play. And, there's such a razor-thin margin in the SEC for both winning and losing. And when you don't have a clean performance in regards to taking care of the football, you're going to struggle to win. And certainly that was the case. Our ineffectiveness, on offense in terms of turnovers and our inability to sustain and finish drives were, a big factor, and have been a big factor in our certainly in our 5 losses. And then defensively, not being able to get off the field on 3rd and 16 in a 2-minute drill. We gotta win that moment every single time. And they had a dominant performance all night. And I know it's easy to pick on them when we give up a few plays where they execute in a critical time and we don't. But just not being able to do enough things, to win the football game. And we certainly had plenty of chances to do so. And we need to, we need to do a better job as a football team, and particularly on offense, being able to put pressure on people, by sustaining drives. You get into past midfield, you got to score. You get down in the red zone, you can't kick more field goals than touchdowns, and we got to find a way to create some explosive plays these last couple of weeks. If you don't, the inability to create explosives just doesn't just go away. That puts pressure everywhere else on your football team, and that's. We've struggled offensively from an execution and a consistency, and certainly taking care of the ball, most importantly. And the smallest details always have the biggest and largest consequences. And when we've taken care of the football, we've won 5 games, and we've outscored people 63-6. And when we've lost our 5 games, we've been outscored 58-7 in the turnover margin. So, recipe for both winning and losing: just take care of the ball, and continue to improve. And when you take care of the ball, again, good things will usually happen. So, our last 3 games, just looking at some self-scout things, our last 3 games. Again, we've lost 2 of them, but we have run the ball better, just under 7 yards a clip in our last 3 games, excluding sacks. And so we're doing some things, and even from our Missouri game, there are several guys up front that had a winning performance. I thought guys that played well. We ran the ball, efficiently. Xavier Robinson, Taylor Tatum had his opportunities there in the first half. Jackson ran the ball with good toughness. Several guys on defense had outstanding games. I'd be negligent if I didn't recognize that. Danny Stutzman had, again, a career-high 19 tackles. Billy Bowman had another outstanding game, as a senior, and scored his 4th career defensive touchdown. Both of them this last week were invited to the Senior Bowl, so they just don't drop those invites out of the sky. Nobody drives down I-35 and throws a Senior Bowl offers out the window like a paper route. So really cool for those guys to be recognized through a lot of hard work and sacrifice throughout their careers. And great to have Farouk and Burks back. Would love to have created some more explosive plays for them. But I thought our guys, those two in particular, did some good things. And then Zach Schmidt was 3 of 3 again, and has been perfect on the year on his extra point, 7 of 7 on his field goals on the year. Luke Elzinga only punted 3 times. Also had a nice throw and catch to Bauer there on the fake. And then again, if y'all had all day, I got lots of guys to brag on defense and the things that they've been able to do, not only in our last game, but on the year. We've improved. We were made tremendous improvement from year 1 to year 2, and year 2 to year 3. We've made another tremendous jump on defense. We've defended the most possessions in college football. And our guys have responded. A year ago, we played pretty well that way. In points per possession, we gave up 30, or we were ranked 30th in the country a year ago, and we're top 15 this year. Pass defense, I said this on my radio show last night. It's not anywhere close to where we want to be. We want to be the best in the country, and we're not there yet, but we shaved off 40 yards through this part of the season. I only recapped that because we looked at ourselves. And what's the data telling us? And we've improved that way. We jumped 50 spots on pass defense from where we were a year ago. Total defense, we jumped 55 spots as well. Yards per play, we went from 5.4 to 4.8, so jumped 38 spots there. And we needed to create more pressure on people. And again, we've had an incredibly challenging schedule, maybe one of the best in most challenging in Oklahoma history. And but we got better in about every area on defense. But a year ago, we were 88th in the country in sacks per game. We're currently at 10 and averaging 3.2. And the rush defense, we're 6th in the country, giving up just under 3 yards a carry rush defense, and overall per game we jumped 28 spots, averaging 109 a game on defense, and then a big plays, which was a huge area of inconsistency a year ago on defense, and we jumped 67 spots in that category against some really quality explosive offenses. We're 16th in the country there. Not quite as good as we were a year ago on third down. Going into the Missouri game, we were top 20 in the country, and we let them have a little too much success there in the second half of that Missouri game that kind of skewed those numbers. But I've been really good in the red zone as well, jumped 20 spots in the red zone. So we know we've been historically inefficient and ineffective on offense, so I won't even talk about that, but we have gotten a little bit better. Some players have gotten better the last several weeks, and we've been a little more efficient and given ourselves a chance. If we just take care of the ball, we'd have a chance to win every game that we play, and along with creating some explosive plays. You can't, with the types of teams that we're playing, you have to be able to do that to put yourself in a position to win. So I know that was long-winded. I had a lot to, unwrap with you, but with that, I'll open it up.
Brent, there's still a lot to play for this season. You got 2 important games remaining, but I wanted to ask you about the offensive coordinator search. What is your timeline for hiring an offensive coordinator, especially with signing day 2 weeks away, with the transfer portal window opening up? How immediate do you have to hire an offensive coordinator? Where are you at right now in that search?
Yeah, we've I've talked to several people, and so feel like we're in a good position where we need to be, and haven't put a hard deadline on it, making that decision, and doing the process. It's due diligence, and there's a lot of layers to it, as you can imagine, and I'm very sensitive to what we're trying to do here to finish out the year, give ourselves a chance to win our last 2 regular season games, and continue to get better. And then, there's got to be a sense of urgency. There certainly is, finding, the best solution to where we're at right now. And so, but there is a real thing called a regular season that's got to finish up. And if I'm talking to the right people, which I believe I am, then they're going to be sensitive to, finishing what they started and being loyal to their players and the people that they work alongside with, things of that nature. But sooner rather than later is when I want it finished, but I want to get it right. And so that's our focus. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brent, we talked to Xavier last night, and he talked about the process of, I know a couple weeks ago you told us that the plan was to redshirt him. Mm-hmm. He said that y'all had talked to him about playing these last couple games and that he had taken some time to think about that. What was that process like going through with him, and how tough is it, I guess, to balance that, the present need versus the potential for the future?
Yeah, you always try to be sensitive to that. A guy like Xavier, he loves the University of Oklahoma. All of his best football is ahead of him. Being a freshman coming in at a position where we had a lot of depth, didn't give him as many opportunities early on, and he'd be the first to tell you too, there's always a transition. Things weren't necessarily smooth for him during the course of the spring. Not that that's abnormal, that's more normal than not. And but a few weeks ago we were a little healthier there at that position, and his opportunities came because of we weren't able to travel right on time, right here this season, right on time. We both Barnes and Sawchuk were both unavailable, and so didn't make the trip, and so he got his opportunity. We know that Taylor Tatum is a fantastic prospect, and he got in the game, did some really good things, and then he struggled a little bit, and then Sam Franklin got in the game, and he struggled a little bit, and so Xavier got his opportunity and did a great job. Great change up. He got in the game and just was outstanding. Showed his instincts and his physicality. Some things that he showed maybe in the main game, late in that game, what a big, strong, physical, instinctive, explosive guy like him can do as a change up late in the game as well. But fantastic athlete, good for him to be ready for his opportunity. He earned a lot of trust through that experience, and in the off week we went back and just looked at it, and there's a better chance than not that he'll play and be more of a part. You look at we got to find a way to win, and if him playing him these last 2 games gives us a better chance in whatever role that is, then we've got to be loyal to the team, and he's all on board for that.
Brent, I wanted to ask a little bit more about something Eric mentioned with the calendar of signing day and the portal opening. Obviously, this is a new setup than what it has been in the past. It sounds like it's impacting your offensive coaching search, but is it impacting other things? What have you seen just in terms of how some of these things moving around are potentially changing things?
Well, again, the real carnage is, getting our roster to 105. And so what does that mean? That means you're going to have to tell several players that they don't have a spot. So that's really the only thing that has caused me just anxiousness. It's just not good. And but I'm not sitting here complaining. My job is to make the best decisions for our program and try to help people through this carnage. And the collateral damage is real. These are human beings that have dreams and are valued members of our team and our locker room, and we're going to have to make some really difficult, challenging decisions. And even on the scholarship guys, I've been telling guys for over 12 months, everything's getting ready to change, and there will be more of a business type approach that we will operate under, all the while not losing or compromising our belief system, things that we value, what we know the real benefit for these young guys through their collegiate experience, the development from boyhood to manhood, but when running a football team, that has incredibly high standards and expectations and the most challenging, league on the planet. And so, their job is to show up every day and show that they can have value to this team. And there's still a developmental piece that's real. Just like all those young guys that are gaining this amazing experience this year on offense, all those young guys, proud of their where they're at right now. Not satisfied with where they're at right now, but know that, man, they've busted their butt. They've made some improvement. They're going to develop, and so you don't just give in to that piece of your program. And so, with the transfer portal, you're finding ways to improve your football team where you really have the real needs. And then can you find guys that can bring value? And so those are things that have been ongoing for the last several months, and then ongoing through our season as well. Guys, again, I say this a lot, best ability is availability. And so if guys they just can't stay healthy, what happens when they go to the NFL? They don't last long. And so, we will take that into account. And all of those things that go along with, there's going to be, salaries and value system and trying to find, a way to improve our football team and recognize where we're at and where, again, we got to get better immediately. And also recognize where we've made incremental improvement, and through another off season, another year of development, another year of maturity, will they be a better version of themselves? And so those are a lot of those things. There are some deadlines that are attached to some of that, and but the one that makes me most anxious is certainly I've got to make sure that we have great clarity and we can move forward in regards to our staff. And I feel great about where that is. Very attractive opportunity for anybody in the coaching profession. And then making sure that we're sitting where we need to in regards to our signing day with the high school players that we have committed. And then addressing the needs that we have, and then having lots of conversations here over the next several weeks when it comes to making decisions on our current roster.
Quick follow-up: the conversations with guys that might not have a spot. Do you have a day that you feel like I need to tell these guys by a certain day so they can make plans, or what's sort of your best guess on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have that date. It'll happen before sooner rather than later. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brent, I saw where you, along with the veterans like Danny and Billy and Ethan, you got Jackson as a captain for this game. Is that a sign of the next two games, that he's your guy going forward in these next two games, but also for next season and his desire to be back next season?
Well, it's a sign of, and I don't know what the future holds. We love Jackson, and we believe in him, but it's a sign of he's one of our best leaders that we have on the team. And there's plenty of guys going through rough spots that still have the ability to lead and fight and compete, and so that goes along with that position as well. But representing the offensive side of the ball, those are two of our best leaders, and Troy Everett and Jackson Arnold.
George. Yeah, Brent. With signing day coming up in a couple weeks, I'm wondering about the offensive recruits, with the struggles that you guys have had on that side of the ball this year, and kind of the unknown of staff and all of that going forward. What is your message to offensive recruits, especially guys that maybe are teetering with a couple weeks left before they make that decision?
Well, again, we've discussed that in here, just in regards to who we've been our first 2 years here. We're a top 10 team, top 5 in several categories. We've been an incredibly explosive We've been a very attractive offense for skill, for offensive line development. Nobody's done it better than Coach Beatonbow. He's got an amazing track record at the very highest level, both in college and guys' opportunity to go to the NFL and play and be prepared to play at a really high level. But again, between running backs and our skill guys and the quarterback play, it's been outstanding this year. And it hasn't represented our standard in any way, shape, or form. There's been incredible disappointment, and you don't have a lot of excuses that are great for it. But I do think our guys recognize, the recruits recognize that, hey man, that we've got several guys that haven't been out there that would be very productive for us, from an injury standpoint. And it also, hey man, what a great opportunity this is to go to a place like Oklahoma that's got a top 10 defense, got great special teams units. Now, if we can get it just a little bit better, get healthy on offense, I can come in and contribute, because we're talking about a group of recruits that are very highly thought of, highly sought after. These are guys that have a great opportunity to come in and help make us better. We played 7,044 snaps of freshmen and sophomores through our first 10 games of the season. So, we've shown the willingness to play young players, not only to play them, come in and be starters. And we've had several guys that have been able to do that. Or when they've gotten in the game as true freshmen, they've come in and played really, really well, whether that's defense or that's offense or that's in the kicking game as well. So great opportunity is what I would say, and believing in people. And this is a staff that's a championship staff, a staff that's had success at the highest level for a long time. And so when you look at a body of work, there's more reasons to support their original decision than not in choosing Oklahoma, knowing that they're going to have a great future. Mm-hmm.
Brent, you mentioned 2 weeks being kind of a long time. Well, what's that process been like to help kind of build Jackson's confidence back up so he can obviously take care of the football but still make quick, competent decisions, the stuff you need to have success against Alabama and LSU these last 2 weeks?
I mean, I think it's going to be the same type of experience it's going to be for the rest of his career. And he's no different than any other player other than he's the face. That goes along with that position at a place like the University of Oklahoma. So that's a position that's a little bit kind of like the head coach position. It's, there's a different type of microscope. There's a different type of focus, and that's okay. He's got broad shoulders to handle that. But improving and developing, making mistakes, learning from the good and the bad, that's going to be an ongoing process for the rest of his career. And so it's just it's a daily task. And, he's got a huge part in that experience and the development and improving and taking ownership. You can't deflect it. You have to have great awareness. You have to have great self-awareness. You have to have great humility, and then you have to have respect for what I need to do, his part, in order to improve. And then it's not just him. It's everybody around him. A lot of times that position, takes criticism even when it's not really his fault, if you will. And then sometimes that position gets too much praise. That goes with that position. And so, my job is to make sure he has the right perspective in that regard. And then, again, making sure that, we're good around him and in that position. But it's an everyday process it's relentless. It doesn't ever stop. And that's a good thing. But I think it all starts with the things that I said, and it's not him alone. And it's Coach Johns, it's Coach Finley, it's Coach Beatonbow and Coach Murray, as much, and Coach Jones, making sure that their guys are detailed and prepared and they understand the game plan, so that it helps him have success and stay into a rhythm. Has a clean pocket and helps him make good decisions. And so everybody has a role in that. And confidence as a young player is always something. The confidence usually comes from the work. And then I'm not going to lie, the confidence takes a shot when you're not successful. And so we got to do, all of us together got to do a good job of hitting it head on. What happened in the middle of where you don't get the outcome that you want, and making sure that we identify it precisely, correctly, and make sure that everybody takes some level of ownership, and then we move forward. You go right back to work. That's what it's all about. Yep.
Back to the center, James. Brent, when you were going in your opening statement, you talked about it, your defensive prowess, especially against the run. Well, that's what makes this game really interesting, because their quarterback run game may be as powerful and strong as anybody in the country, and then they got that freshman outside with the speed and things. Talk about that matchup within the matchup that is going to be so intriguing in this game.
Yeah, incredibly explosive, and they have great playmakers everywhere. Certainly it starts, everything goes through the quarterback, but they have it at offensive line play. They're really good up front. You know, they know what they're doing. They're making everything work, and then the running backs are fantastic. They got home run hitters, real strong, physical running backs that do a great job at running behind their pads, a massive O-line that's really good at opening big gaps for people, and then fantastic explosive receivers and tight ends that can get behind you, and they have tremendous catch radius. Just, you know, they can catch it in traffic, make something out of nothing, make competitive plays. So it's all a challenge. And top 10 on offense and defense and scoring defense. They're playing great football right now. They've obliterated their last 3 opponents and just run right through them. And they lost 2 one-score games on the road. And they've beaten, I believe, 5 bowl-eligible teams. They've beaten some really good teams, been in some really tough games and found ways to win and come up short in a couple of games. But it's a team that's improved from where they were at the beginning of the year to where they're at now. But, man, you're not going to look up, you know, and win this game. It's about physicality. It's about execution. Certainly the run game and the quarterback containing him, if you will. Preventing him from having a career-type day is paramount. But they've been really opportunistic. I think they've given it away 11 times. They've created 24 turnovers, maybe 15 in their last 3 games. So they're really starting to play well within their systems and starting to play really aggressively. I know several players on their roster that I'm familiar with through the recruiting process, both here at Oklahoma and prior to coming here to Oklahoma. I had one, their middle linebacker, number 11, and Jihad Campbell was a guy that had committed at Clemson, but they've got a really talented roster. They're getting starting to play really, really well. And we're going to have a great challenge. But, something that we've been really good at this year, to your point, something that they've really been fantastic in. And so those 2 things are going to meet, on Saturday night. Look forward to it.
Brent, senior day, I'm sure you have a story about every single one of them, but the 5 that have stuck with you from the start, Danny, Billy, Jaleel, Woody, Ethan, just what it's meant to you that they've been with you through the 3 years and what it's meant to the program.
Yeah, man, they've just been fantastic, completely bought in. They've been the example when it comes to the work, the investment, the love for their opportunity and their teammates, the locker room. They've enriched it in every way. They've grown as men in every way that you'd want them to, as a coach and as a parent. Incredibly proud of what their contributions, from a football standpoint, but what a great legacy all of them have left, for this is what it looks like to pour into the program and to make the most of their opportunity, squeeze all the juice out of it that you can, and then just be present in the moment. They all have incredibly bright futures, but something I've been most proud of is they haven't gotten distracted, through the good and the bad. They've been as consistent of people in this program, players in our program, that you could ever want them to be. So I'm really, really thankful. I love these guys like my own kids, and proud of all of their accomplishments, and know they're going to go dominate, when their careers here are finished.
Brent, you mentioned in your opening statement about getting Jaleel and Dion back against Missouri. Just wanted to ask you, how did you see them maybe handle or respond from a health standpoint, getting back on the field, and how do you approach maybe the last couple of weeks in terms of monitoring their workload and where they're at?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I said this as well last night. They certainly weren't practicing for 2 weeks with us prior to going into last week's game. So they had to knock off a little bit of rust, and certainly the volume, their capacity, their play capacity certainly wasn't what it would normally be. And I thought they did great. I thought they fought their butts off to get back. that was all them and their willingness to push the envelope and stress themselves to get back out with their teammates and be a part of what we're trying to do. And so really proud of them and the toughness that they showed and the leadership that they showed as well through it all. And I thought that they did a good job. And the second half, they started losing a little bit from a stamina standpoint. And so we particularly limited Jalil in his play count. And, that we're hoping that would continue to improve, as we, move forward. But thought that they brought a lot of excitement with the rest of the guys too. Having them back out there, that has a real effect that you can just tell there's a different type of buzz. Mm-hmm.
Brent, I know the offensive line has had its struggles this season, but these last few weeks, how encouraging has it been to see the development of Heath Ozida and Logan Howland on the left side? And does that maybe signal that things can turn around quicker up front, heading into next year, moving forward?
Yeah, again, we have, I think, Tarquin and we got Tarquin and Spencer Brown and Branson. Those are the three guys that won't be back as seniors, and then everybody else is back. And so watching these guys develop and improve in incremental ways through their opportunities, those guys that you mentioned, again, man, I've loved the fight of those guys and the work that they've put in and the improvement that has that's really happened, and knowing that, man, all their best football is still ahead. They're still going to continue to develop and improve, and maybe it's even a guy like Fabechi, where he was at the beginning of the year to where he is now, or getting Troy back. I believe that Texas week was when we first got Troy back and his leadership. And again, he's a guy that was out for 6 months, and so he also has developed and gotten better here the last several weeks. And then along with, again, a guy like Isaiah Autry, Eddie Pierre-Louis has also gotten some reps in there, along with Daniel against UK Dan against Maine in particular, but gave us just a glimpse of what the future looks like. And we still got other guys, Josh Sosa, BJ, guys that you haven't seen yet that we really feel great about, along with several mid-year guys that are going to come in here and make us better day one as well. So that's a group that we're incredibly excited about, and even though we fell short this year, it's a group that has improved, and several guys, again, were put in a position where their opportunity came maybe a little bit before they had quote unquote earned it, but I thought that they did a great job with the opportunity that they were given.
Brent, you talked about your 5 seniors. I'm wondering about Woody in particular. It seems like this day and age, college football, really rare for someone to stay at one school for 5-6 years. Just how much has the endurance of his investment meant to you? Yeah, he's just as loyal as they come, and he cares deeply about this place and his opportunity, his teammates. We don't have a better leader, a guy that pours into his teammates more than Woody. And great humility. Coach, I'll play wherever you want me to play. And he's been a guy that's plugged in a lot of different spots for us, has always been ready, great competitor, great example for the younger players of what leading looks like. And again, to me, great leaders are ones that can reproduce it. And that's what he's intentionally tried to do and has done. He's brought the best out of the young players around him and his teammates. Been a great example for others.
Coach, back to the offensive coordinator situation. Been a lot of talk about Dan Mullen. Is the job Dan Mullen's if he wants it?
I'm not going to comment about the details of the search. I reached out to him a year ago,
Okay. Emotionally, it'd be easy this time of year. You see teams that just get emotionally down. Your guys have reason to, if anyone does. How do you see them going into a big game like this, just emotionally as a club?
Well, again, nobody is. Listen, the fans should be disappointed, but I can promise you these players and the coaching staff are incredibly disappointed. But that doesn't mean that our spirit's broken. And that's what I've seen, a strong-spirited team that's invested too much. You don't just give in here, in the 11th hour. Man, this is a group of guys that still believes. I've got to do a good job of showing them, again, where's the improvement been? What is holding us back? Is it that y'all stink and your coaches are terrible and we should get rid of everybody and tear the whole place down? Like probably some people think, and the opinions are what the opinions are. But my job is to recognize where there has been improvement, where we had our opportunities to win, and what the game, again, winning doesn't negotiate, okay? And when you don't do the things that winning requires, you lose. And so if we can get just a little bit better in a couple of spaces, then we'll get a better result. And so I think our guys are a group of guys that the buy-in's too strong, the leadership's too strong, the investment's been too strong, and they've come too far I think they know that they can be a great example for what fight and what belief and what finishing and what improving and proving people wrong, what it looks like. And I think this is a group of guys that are committed to doing that.
Time for two more, John Hoover and then Cliff Brown.
Yeah, Brent, given current events, I wanted to ask you, you once had a policy about recruits. If you're committed to Oklahoma, then you're not going to go visit somewhere else. And I just wonder how that policy has kind of evolved as NIL has taken the kind of center stage with some of these kids.
If you're visiting other schools in the present moment, you're not committed. That's what I would say.
Their offer pulled?
Is that part of my policy?
I'm asking, has
Oh, you're asking my I never said that.
Has your policy changed at all in recent years?
Mm-mm. No. No.
So, Coach, you've obviously faced Alabama a few times over the years, but that was with Nick Saban as the head coach. Now you've got Kalen DeBoer. From the outside looking in, what do you see as DeBoer's imprint on the team, things that he's done maybe a little differently that stand out?
Yeah, obviously the DNA is different, what they're doing in all three phases, offense, defense, and their special teams. Successful a different type of way in some ways. In some ways it's similar. I think one of Kellen's strengths as a football coach, a very successful coach, is he takes a group of players that he has and he figures, and their staff, they figure out what they can do, and then they major in that, put them in position to be successful based on the players' strengths. So they've done a nice job of doing that throughout the course of the season, but they look like Alabama of old in regards to the lines of scrimmage and the skill and the quarterback play, what they're doing on defense, the aggressiveness, forcing turnovers, those types of things. So some ways different, some ways not.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Appreciate it. Have a good day.